This is Marriage on the Half Shell, Raw and Exposed. So this is going to be the women's version of what Jay has already discussed in 2 other episodes. Mine is probably not going to be quite as long. And it's not that he's more talkative than I am. It is that I'm...
That's funny.
Because I'm the more talkative one, actually. But I do tend to be more of a bullet point type of person. I extracted quite a bit of this information from, life experience. But also, there was an article in Evie magazine, and we will put that link in the show notes. And I don't cover all of it. I just picked out the few points that I thought were a lot more relevant to everyday life. And the title of the article was something like 15 good characteristics of a woman according to guys, or whatever. So, I mean, it's a marriage podcast, so we are talking about, relationship type of advice. But this is going to go from just improving yourself as a person, as a woman, and then it will bleed over into, if you want to attract the right guy and you want to be married, then these are the things that you should be working on in yourself.
Yeah.
And you're going to improve yourself overall by working on the things that I'm going to talk about tonight.
Yeah. So if you haven't listened to the last 2 episodes, as related to being a high quality man,
Right.
We could almost name those, some of it, most of it being a high quality person.
Yes. Because a lot of what you discussed it's going to bleed over, right?
It's a lot of overlap. So, do listen to those, and it also helps you understand how we envision anyone listening to, applying what we're saying.
Right.
Related to, don't implement everything all at once.
Absolutely, yeah. Yep.
So the show notes, by the way, all 3 episodes are going to point to the same set of notes.
Okay. Yeah, that works.
That's the way I see it.
Sure.
Because, all of it is relevant enough that you can use those to get started in your journey, no matter where you are.
Right.
Okay. So, go for it.
Okay. So I'm just going to run through these. I put them out of order, so I'm just going to kind of run through them here. The first one is just be a nice person. And it doesn't, and actually when the Evie article wrote about it, they said be sweet. And I don't like that. I don't like that because that's not something that anyone has ever said about me, or it's not something that people typically say about me. I'm not. I have a friend at the gym, and I swear to God, she is the nicest person I think I've ever met. Mm-hmm. And she genuinely wants everyone around her to be happy. She comes to the gym every morning, and she doesn't just greet everyone, she hugs everyone, right? It took me a little while to adjust myself to her personality. But honestly, I just love her to pieces. I really do. She accepts me the way I am, right? So this is why I changed it to be a nice person, because I've had people say that about me, at least, that I'm a nice person.
You can be nice.
Sometimes.
I would say, the just the thought that occurred to me is like when you say they're a sweet person, it's like you can be sweet while you're being a malicious person.
Yes, yeah. There can be sweet, manipulative people.
Yeah. So
okay, that does not describe the person that I was just talking about.
Sweet, nice person. Well, she's sweet in the positive sense.
Yes.
and definitely a nice person.
Yes.
And we love her to death. So
Yeah.
And-
So anyway,
and her husband,
okay.
too.
Yeah. Her husband is great. I've known him actually longer than I've known her. Anyway, when I say be a nice person, I'm not saying be a doormat or let people trample all over you. Or don't be a strong person, because, I mean, obviously that's how I'm wired. It does mean don't be rude. Just don't be rude to people. Actually, in my notes, pardon my language, being bitchy is never attractive. No matter the relationship that you're talking, it doesn't matter if you're talking about a relationship with another woman or if you're trying to develop a relationship with a man. That is not attractive.
No.
Right? Obviously, I have a very strong personality, but I try not to trample on people. And that is actually something that I've had to learn over the years, because I think I did a lot of that when I was younger. I would trample on people. I would run them over. My opinion is better than yours, interrupting, one-upping, all of that.
Yeah.
It's just, that's just the kind of and it's something that I've worked on and cultivated over the years, right?
Yeah. And
so
vastly improved.
Thank you.
We both vastly improved. We both needed improvement. So,
but you've improved in like initiating conversation and being more social, right? So and I'm going to talk about that a little bit too, as far as our relationship.
Yeah, okay.
So, but here's the thing, I have a very strong personality, but if someone comes to me and asks me for advice, and believe me, that does not happen often, and this is why. It's because they're going to hear the truth.
Yeah.
Not my truth, not their truth. They're going to hear the truth, right? They're going to hear, oh no, you screwed up. You need to fix this. Or no, go home and have a conversation with that person, because this has got to be adjusted or whatever.
Yeah.
I try to do that while being direct and not being rude. Right?
Right.
I try not to trample on other people's feelings. And that's really all I'm talking about when I'm saying be a nice person. That's really all I'm talking about.
But at the same time, while you're being nice, you're truthful.
Yes.
We vowed to never lie to our children.
Yeah.
And they don't like that.
No.
I should say a couple of them don't like that.
Yeah, that's true.
The rest of them are like,
They accept it.
fully on board.
Yeah.
And, who wants to be lied to, right? But some just, a couple of them just don't like it.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, we'll deal with that. But
Yeah.
And our oldest daughter is just like you in the sense of being
Actually,
truthful.
oldest and youngest.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oldest and youngest daughters,
Yeah.
right? Be truth. They're truthful, and this may not be part of this podcast, but they've lost a couple friends because
They have.
It's like they're not going to lie to their friends,
Yeah.
and their friends just like, I don't want to hear the truth.
Yeah.
And there are some people like that, but
Yeah.
if they don't want to hear the truth, then you can
You
only
really want them in your circle.
Yeah, they yeah. I mean, maybe
It's
they'll come back
questionable.
later.
Yeah.
When they've kind of grown up a little, but
Right.
Anyway, go ahead.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
So I wanted to start with that one.
Tangents.
Yeah. The next one that I have here is intelligence. Men, if you're in the dating scene, or your husband, they want someone they can talk to about a wide variety of subjects. It also indicates that you've thought through what's important to you.
Yep.
Right? You've read a lot of things. You've educated yourself. You're sure of your own values, right?
Yep.
You don't have to be a political junkie like me, because I am a political junkie. I spend a lot of time listening to political podcasts, and we lived in the suburbs of DC for 20 something years. So I just kind of became but you don't have to go down that path. You just have to know what you believe and why you believe it.
Yep.
Right?
We said that.
So, right. But being aware of important issues is important. You know, you need to know what's going on in the world around you. Especially now, yes. So read lots of stuff, you know, not romance novels. Please don't read. Like my husband in the past 2 episodes, you know, we talked briefly about porn. We may do a longer podcast on that whole issue. Obviously women statistically don't watch porn. There's exceptions to that rule, and I understand that. But women tend to read porn.
In the form of?
It's not just that. Women tend to read like erotic novels and things. I mean, that are obviously pornographic. But here's the thing. I have come to believe over the years that romance novels, these romance novels and mommy porn, I've heard it called that. It's just as bad, ladies. It really is. It infects your brain, and it causes you to have, like, porn can alter a man's brain to where he has expectations about sex that no woman can meet.
That's true.
You know? And I 100% believe that romance novels do the same thing to your brain. You read that, pardon my language again, you read that shit. It's awful. It's awful. And it's written by people who have very unattainable expectations of any relationship. It does.
Well, it sets you up to have
yes.
expectations on a relationship that can't be met.
Yes.
By a man.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because it idealizes a man, just like, in a sense, porn idealizes a woman in the bedroom.
Right.
And neither one of those things can be met.
Right.
Realistically. So you end up having this constant disappointment.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I read romance novels until I was 17, I think. And it was my mom who got me hooked on them. She started reading them. That relationship was just wildly dysfunctional, but that's a tangent. The point is, she got me reading them. And the last, I swear to God, the last one I ever read, I think when I was 17, and it had every single type of depravity, right down to pedophilia, right in the book. And it was glorifying all of it. And I closed the book halfway through and swore them off when I was 17. And I really have not looked back. I read the classics. That's what I tend to gravitate to. And I read like political novels or not novels, political books, you know, informative, historical. I read a lot of history, that kind of thing. That's what I gravitate to. So just all I'm saying is be informed. That's what I mean by be intelligent. So that you can have conversations with people that actually matter. That's all I'm talking about.
Yep.
So I'm going to leave that one to the end. Okay. Be reliable. If you make a commitment, then follow through on it. If you don't think you're going to be able to follow through on the commitment, then don't make the commitment. Just do what you say you're going to do. Be someone that people can rely on, right? Once you become a mom, that's all there is. Everybody is relying on you. All these little people clinging to your legs and your breasts and your body and everything else, they're relying on you for their life, actually.
Oh,
So
literally.
yeah. So this should be your standard for all your relationships, not just men. But, if you say you're going to do something, then just do it. Yeah. And if you don't think you're going to be able to do it, then don't say I'm going to be there, or don't say I'm going to do it, right?
You'd be absolutely amazed, how this affects the people around you and your standing at your job.
Sure.
If you're a woman at a job, right? Single young woman at a job, or a young man or older man at a job, if you're reliable, you'd be amazed at how far you get just with that one thing.
Yeah. This one we covered. We did a whole podcast on this. Express gratefulness for things. This also kind of goes along with just being a nice person. But if somebody does something for you, it doesn't cost you anything to say thank you. And I mean little things. If someone holds a door open for you, say thank you. If someone, does something, does anything for you, it doesn't cost you anything to say thank you.
And be sincere.
Yes. But appreciation shows care for the people in your life. Yeah. That's what you're doing. And if you have a man in your life, if there's someone you're dating, or, if you have a husband and he does something chivalrous, I know that that's a dirty word. It's really not.
It's not a dirty word.
But you hold doors for me. Actually, at this point in my life, if any of my 3 boys are with me, meaning you're not a boy, but if the boys are with me, or if you're with me, I my rule is I don't touch doors. I don't touch them. Yeah. Somebody's going to open the door for me. One of the 3 of you is going to open the door for me, and that's all there is to it. But I make a point of saying thank you. If you pull out chairs for me, you do the things that a gentleman is supposed to do, and I try to express gratefulness for that when you do it, right? So, and the more you express gratefulness for those little gestures, the more you encourage him to continue to do those things, right?
Yeah.
And and I taught my boys, and and now they're, my older son who still lives with us, he sits in the back seat when he goes out and runs errands with us, and he'll get out of the car and open my door.
That's true. He does that.
And he's heard about it from, I don't know where we were, grocery shopping or somewhere, but we pulled it, he drove, right? So he's in the driver's seat. But when we got there, I was sitting in the passenger seat. I was going to open my own door. I didn't expect him to do it. But I'm getting my purse together and getting my water bottle, and he ran around the car and opened the door for me, right?
I was there.
No, you were not. This was one time that when we were out running errands together. Yeah. And some guy in the parking lot went, "Kudos to you, dude. That's a good job." He complimented him on it. Yeah. Open the door for your mom. So, but I think that he's continued to do it because he feels appreciated.
Sure. I think he does.
Yeah. So express appreciation.
It will serve him.
Yes.
It will serve him well.
Yes.
And then this reminds me of our How to Train Your Dragon episode. It's part of the training process is to be grateful.
Yes. Yeah. All right. Next one here is be supportive. If you have a husband who works full time, then he comes home and, our house was always chaos when you got home.
It was.
Almost.
Well, not just when I got home.
I know.
All the time.
But, you got home and it was like everybody descended on Daddy.
That's
right?
true.
Yeah, it was always like that, right? So you need to be supportive of the man in your life. You need to listen to him when he talks. You need to be patient with him, right? You need to encourage him to share, right? Because men don't always have an easy time with that, sharing things, right?
That's one thing I forgot to mention. But go ahead.
Participate in the things that he's interested in, right? So I try to show an interest in the things that you're interested in. I listen to, like you listen to a lot of podcasts and YouTube videos and stuff while you're working. Mm-hmm. And I keep an ear open. I know what you're listening to, and I try to draw you out about it and talk about it, you know, that kind of thing.
Well, this is a thing we've established, not perfectly, but we've established this, what did I learn today?
Yeah, yep.
And we've asked our kids about this when they were in school and such, before they moved out and all that stuff. But we'll tell each other, you know, what did we learn today? And it's not always every day, but we'll have something to talk about.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
give honest feedback. That's also a part of being supportive, right? Right. So, a high quality man is receptive to constructive criticism. And I put emphasis on the word constructive, ladies. Just make sure that it is that. It's not just criticism after criticism. That is not supportive.
And it's not nagging.
No, I'm not talking about, because I think that continuous criticism is nagging, and that's not going to get you anywhere. It just, all it does is plant those contempt seeds in your heart. And yeah.
Well, if you have this expectation as a woman, if you have this expectation of instant change in your husband, for instance, or in your boyfriend, that, you know, change doesn't happen that fast. I mean, it takes a long time for people to change. And there are people out there who say people never change. It's like, but you know what? You can change. Yeah. It just takes a long time.
Right.
And so if you're patient and encouraging, the change will happen.
Yeah.
And if you look at your own life as a woman,
right.
And I know I'm speaking as a man here, but if you look at your own life, it takes you just as long to make a change like that in your life.
Right.
Right. So, and maybe it's just on the order of months, and it might take years, but change can happen, but it takes time. And I don't know. Go back and again, How to Train Your Dragon. How to make change happen in your house and how long it takes.
Right.
Or in your relationships or whatever. But I don't want to drag you off.
Okay.
Off the topic. Because I can do that.
All right. So I'm trying to go like the bigger character qualities, and then I'm going to dive into some more surface level character. I think that's what I'm trying to do here.
Like we said last time.
Shifting around.
Surface level things display the inner person.
Right.
So we talked about inner things first, and then work their way outward.
Right.
So you're kind of doing the same thing.
Right. Okay. Dedication. Right. If you want a real relationship or already married, make it your priority to be dedicated to the relationship that you're in. You should be each other's first commitment. Like I don't make plans with other people unless I text you first or ask you first or talk to you, right?
Yeah.
I don't do that.
And vice versa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know, you're the most important relationship that I have.
Oh. But you're the most important relationship that I have.
Okay. This also means don't okay, so the flip side of this is you don't trash talk your husband ever. I've harped on this before, ladies, and I'm going to hit it again. I'm telling you, once you start to go down that path or you indulge it or you're with a group of women and they're all trash talking their boyfriends / husbands or whatever, and you participate, you are letting contempt in, and it grabs a hold and it doesn't let go. We have witnessed it destroy multiple marriages.
Contempt, yeah.
It's one of the worst things that you can let into your relationship. It really is.
Yep.
Do not trash talk your husband with anyone. If you have a problem with something that your husband or your boyfriend actually is doing, take it to him.
Or anyone, but these are the most important relationships.
Yes, this is what I'm talking about right now. Right? It's a relationship killer. Just you can't let it in.
Yeah, I'm envisioning this where you're tempted to join in your friends. Right, this is a man's perspective.
Yeah.
But you're wanting to participate in what's going on with your friend group of women, and they're trash talking their husbands because, well, they're developing contempt or they have contempt.
Yeah.
And you want to do it because you want to fit in, but it draws you into doing it, this trash talk, this complaining.
Yeah.
But doing that, there are things that we do, and trying to get it. If you get into psychology of how things work, how we work as human beings, if you think about things, then it begins to affect your mind, and if you talk about things, it begins to affect your mind, and of course there's writing too. Never write what you don't believe.
Right. Yeah.
Outside of this,
Right.
but if you're talking to your friends, complaining about your boyfriend or your husband, just to fit in, it's like eventually that's going to develop actual contempt within your mind.
Yeah.
And look, this applies to guys too. If you bitch about your wife, it's going to develop this contempt, and that will kill your relationship. You don't want that, right? So as from women, it's the same thing. And I can say this as a guy because it applies to both of us. If you speak about something that's a lie, whether it's just to fit in or just to get approval from your group,
Right.
or whatever, eventually it gets into your mind,
Yeah.
and you begin to look at the other. You begin to look at your spouse, or your fiance, or your boyfriend, or whoever, in that negative way.
Yeah.
And eventually it will kill your relationship.
Yeah.
So you have to fight against that, even
Right.
if it means excusing yourself from that group.
That's generally what I do. If I'm in a group of women and they start that nonsense, I'll take a couple of steps back and go find something else to do. I'm just not. It makes me wildly uncomfortable. Especially if I'm in a group of women where I know that if I say something, it's not going to be well received.
If you're strong enough, you can say, I don't think we should be doing this.
Yeah.
Look, like, as a guy, I say, look, guys, we're complaining about our wives, but it's, we love them, and it's not the right way to do things.
Yeah.
And it's weird, but it kind of sounds like, you're in a church group. It's like, what can we say positive about our wives, But, you can be a positive influence on your friend group.
Yeah.
But there are plenty of studies out there where if you can look at, how can I put this? Someone said, tell me your 4 closest friends. Let me see your 4 closest friends, and I'll tell you who you are, because we are who our friends are.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So if your friend group is that, this destructive, complaining, bitching
toxic
about
toxic
their significant others, and it's like they're eventually going down the tubes, and if you stay in that group, you're going down the tubes.
Yeah.
Or so if you're strong enough, you're confident enough, you can begin to turn it around and have a positive influence, right? But we've also seen this. We counseled one of our kids. It's like, you can be a positive influence on this group of friends that you have,
right?
But they didn't do that, and those friends took them down this path, and it's like, they can change completely.
Yeah.
Right? So it can be a bad thing if you don't watch your friend group. Mm-hmm. And I didn't say this back in the men's podcast, but that's another thing for both men and women.
Right,
so,
right.
To watch your friend group. And that doesn't mean destroy all your current relationships, but, you might need to. Depending on how bad things are.
I don't like this. I don't like this. Get the toxic people out of your life and labeling people toxic. But there is a legitimate definition of someone who is toxic.
Yeah,
and that's exactly what you're talking about. Is just somebody like that.
I guess it's someone you can try to influence them to a positive.
Yes.
But if they just won't come along.
Right.
Then you're going to have to distance yourself or make them an acquaintance rather than a friend.
Yeah.
All right.
So,
my gosh.
Contempt.
I said we weren't going to rant.
No, but contempt is a big one, and it needs to be discussed like on a loop almost. It's bad.
Yep.
Another one here, when you're talking to men, and this is, I've read articles about how women are not supposed to have guy friends. I don't buy it. I think it's just me. It's my personality. I had 3 younger brothers. I've had some complicated relationships with other women, so it complicates that whole scenario for me. I have a hard time bonding with other women for multiple reasons that I won't go into right now. But
I think that has to do with the level of security of your guy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, I think I've developed a pretty high level of security, if that's the right way to put it, in our relationship, such that when, you have friends at the gym, you have women friends at the gym, and men friends at the gym, and they're all friends.
Yeah.
But you're not doing things that would make me question your dedication to me.
I am not going to go out on a lunch date or something with one of my guy friends.
Right.
Not going to happen.
That's
anyway,
weird. But
okay.
But the point is, I think it has to do with how secure your significant other is, your spouse, whatever. And they need to up their security. But you need to be worthy of that security.
Yes, yeah, that's true.
And this goes both ways.
Right.
Right. And I'm not saying I would go out with a lady friend from the gym either. Right. And say, well, you're secure. I'm going to go out with blah, blah, blah. Right. I wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
And nor would you.
Right.
But you can still be friends with them.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm trying to.
Well, it's kind of, we're skirting around the point that I was going to make here.
Are we skirting?
Yeah.
Skirting?
Yeah, we are.
That's all right. Let's just jump right on that point.
So, here's the point. It's better with the men in your life if you are direct. Men don't read minds.
Neither do women.
No. Well, we think we can. Intuition, and all this kind of nonsense.
All right.
But men don't read minds, ladies. It's just better. Don't think he will discern what you want because he likes you or loves you. It doesn't work that way.
That's true.
if you want something, you've got to be direct and just say it. And it doesn't matter what aspect of the relationship we're talking about here. Be blunt and communicate your wants and your needs and your feelings. You've got to just say it.
And it doesn't mean being harsh.
No.
It just means open and truthful.
Yeah. Like you and I had we don't really have that many conflicts anymore because we talk a lot. We talk all the time, right?
Yeah.
But the other day, you were sitting at the computer and, okay, so I came up behind you and I put my hand on your shoulder. And you kind of exaggerated the, okay, now I have to stop and see what you want kind of thing,
Yeah.
So, and I got angry. Because it's like, all I wanted to know was, what are you doing? And, I'm going to go sit on the couch in the living room. We can find something to do. But I just wanted to know how much longer you were going to be or what you were doing, right? So, rather than just communicating that to you, I stomped off and got mad. And you knew it right away. You knew I was mad right away.
Yeah. And I knew it was my fault, too.
It
Not because it's always my fault.
No.
But because I knew I'd exaggerated the movement. But I think I don't know. I think I was trying to... And now is the time to teach this lesson, which was dumb.
Okay, but we sat down and we had a very direct, honest conversation about it, and the conflict was over in a matter of 5 minutes.
Yeah.
We just we resolved it right away. But why? Because I didn't sit there and try to make him read my mind and figure out what I was thinking and why I was upset and all of that. I just said it. I said all I wanted to know was what you were doing. That's it. And I just how long are you going to be sitting here before we can go and move on with our evening or whatever. So
but I also explained, as a guy, I explained where I was coming from. It's like,
right,
you come by and okay, here's some insight into our life.
Yeah.
It's like you come by and it's like if you just walk by and you let your hand run across my shoulders and you keep going, it's like that doesn't take me out of my concentration box.
And I actually do that quite a bit.
My focus box, right? And that's fine. I mean, I love it, right? I know you're there, but you're not taking me
or
out.
I'll stop, kiss you on the forehead, and just go on.
But as soon as you do that...
What?
I think even if you do that, that's taking me out of my box. And as a guy... And I don't know if this applies to all guys, but I think it applies to most guys.
Yeah.
It's like if we're focusing on something, which is a guy's ability to do, I don't want to say women can't, but we're exceptionally able to focus on a task.
Yeah.
So I'm working, and if you come by and take me out of that box, and there have been scientific studies that show that it takes 10 to 15 minutes to get back into that level of concentration, right? And I'm trying to code, computer programming, right? Coding, all that stuff, and figure out...
Okay, ladies, just to give you an indication of how important his job is, if you step outside during the day and you see two planes flying and they don't crash into each other... That's what my husband does for a living. He keeps the planes from crashing into each other. But continue.
By myself.
No.
Right.
There's a team of people, but he's on that team. So anyway, you can...
I'm a small cog.
Okay.
I'm a small cog.
You've been doing this for 30 years. So.
In the team that makes the software that enables the FAA guys, of which I am not, to do the job of keeping the planes from crashing.
We're talking about how being direct.
Putting it in perspective.
Okay.
Direct?
Yeah.
We're not talking about being direct.
Yeah, being direct with guys.
We're talking about boxes and focus. All right.
Sure.
Yes, we are.
Okay. The point is, I was direct. I told you exactly what I was feeling. I told you why I was mad. And... we resolved it very quickly because of that.
Right.
So, and just another little this is like another little peek into our family life, another little tangent. So the whole box thing, this has been a thing our entire married life.
I think it's accurate.
And the kids are all aware of it, even. Like, they would come to me with a question, and I go, okay, you need to go talk to Dad, but he's in his box. And I would say those words, he's in his box. So you're going to have to go and get his attention. He's not going to hear you if you just stand across the room and go, Dad, Dad, Dad. He's not going to hear you.
Yeah, true.
You've got to walk over there and actually get his attention because he's not going to hear you. So they knew that growing up.
Yeah.
And that was, you can, any of my kids, you know, if I said to them, Dad's in his box, they knew exactly what I was talking about.
Yeah.
So.
And man, if you can't get anything done, maybe you need to figure out how to get in a box. Because believe me, you can ignore fires and police and gunshots and everything else.
And we hear a lot of that actually going in our neighborhood.
In the neighborhood.
Yeah, we do. Okay. So,
go ahead.
So anyway. And this is the last kind of deeper thing that I'm going to cover before I start going to some more surface level kind of things. One of the points said, be down to earth. Now, what does that mean? That's like a blanket term for a lot of things, right? There's nothing really, I don't care what TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, I don't care what social media tells you. I don't care what kind of articles you're reading in whatever magazines you're reading. Being expensive and high maintenance is not a great way to conduct any relationship. It's not. The articles that encourage women to be, I'm expensive and I'm high maintenance. I have all these emotional issues and all of this. Come on. Get over yourself. Just get over yourself. Enough already, right? Men don't want to be manipulated. And they don't want to play games. And those two qualities, being expensive and high maintenance, that's all it is.
It's narcissistic.
It's narcissistic, and you're being manipulative and you're playing games. It's just bad practice.
What kind of relationship is built on playing games and manipulation?
Exactly.
Oh, my goodness.
So it reeks of desperation.
Yeah.
And reeks is the right word here. I'm sorry, reeks. What does that mean? It means it stinks. It's just awful. And let me tell you something. I have 6 kids. This kind of nonsense, I don't have time for. These women who I'm mysterious, that's baloney.
Just say it.
No, it's just total horse hockey. I don't have time to be mysterious. I don't have the time. I don't have the energy. It takes too much energy to be mysterious and high maintenance and expensive. Come on. Get over yourself.
It's just narcissistic.
It really is.
It's like...
And it's never attractive. It's never attractive.
Definitely not attractive.
Not attractive to men, not attractive to anyone. It doesn't further your growth as a human being. It really does not. All right. So that's the last of the kind of deeper, I guess we would say, qualities that you might want to cultivate if you want to have a good relationship with a man, your husband, your boyfriend. So now we'll go into some more surface level stuff. Develop your own hobbies. You and I are very different. We're almost opposite.
Oh,
yeah, opposites, right? We don't have everything in common.
Right.
That's true. We have the most base important things in common. We have our values. We have the way we think about our family, the way we value our family, and all of that. All of that And that's really what's important anyway. Right?
Yeah,
and we value our commitment to each other, right? Mm-hmm. Those are things that you should have, right? But it's better and more interesting if you don't have a lot in common.
True.
You know?
We challenge each other.
Yeah, we challenge each other, but we also learn from each other, right?
Well, that's what I mean, is this challenge of, like, would I have ever gone to learn how to swing dance?
Yeah.
If I didn't have you in my life? Probably not.
Yeah.
You know, but you wanted to do it, and we kept at it, and it took me, 3 years?
Something like that. Yeah.
And we just kept going back, and I finally started to enjoy it.
Yeah.
And get it. And it's like, that's I look at it as an improvement in my own self.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, hey, I really like this now, you know, and I would not have if you hadn't not dragged me to it, but wanted to do it.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, because I love you, I want to do it.
Right.
And so I kept learning, and finally it clicked. And it probably won't take most of you 3 years to do something like that. But it took me that long.
Yeah.
And I still struggle with it, but I think I enjoy it now.
Right.
So much more.
Yeah.
You know, and that's just one little example.
Right. Well, I mean, I wrote down some other stuff here. But, so, you know, I'm a CrossFit girl. It's been almost 7 years.
At least, yeah.
That I've been doing CrossFit. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty dedicated to it. I think it's right now I'm having to work on some stuff, and I like it also because of the atmosphere. I like going to the gym. I like the people, it's a very encouraging environment for me.
Sure.
It helped me get off the Xanax and stop drinking as much, right? All of that stuff. But you don't. You will go to the gym with me from time to time. You like the people that I hang out with at the gym, people, and you have some friends. But you prefer working out by yourself.
Yep.
You know, that's you've got your own space and you like working out by yourself. You like action novels, and I will read them on occasion. You know, I will dip my toe in that, but for the most part I like the classics. You know, that's what I gravitate to. Classic novels, like this stuff I have over here.
What does that mean?
What?
Give somebody an example.
Okay,
of a classic novel.
could read To Kill a Mockingbird and Gone with the Wind, on repeat, pretty much. That
just
kind of
wanted
thing.
an example.
Yes, that kind of thing. I love Anne of Green Gables, and I like the classic novels. That's what I like. You don't. I mean, you've read them. But you're not going to read them on repeat, right?
I would read them once and that's it.
Yeah. So
I read most of my books once and that's it.
Yeah, I know. I'm bad about that. I like to read things over and over. I like long form podcasts, like we talked about Joe Rogan, right?
Right.
I like his podcast a lot. I listen to Jordan Peterson, obviously, his daughter Michaela. I listen to those kind of podcasts, and I listen to political commentary. I listen to a lot of that. You don't really like that. You listen to like YouTube videos and your audiobooks and things like that.
I like things that are entertaining and 15 minutes or less.
Yeah.
Mostly.
Right.
But if you say, hey, let's talk about this one subject, but it's going to take me an hour to talk about it, I won't listen to it. I look at the titles of these things and I say, oh, that's an interesting subject. But then I look at the time and it's more than an hour. It's like, you could probably tell me what I want to know in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm not going to listen to an hour. Okay. That's how different we are.
Yeah, Right.
So,
but the point is, and there are times when you'll send me stuff that you've listened to, and there are times when I've actually had you sit down and no, we need to listen to this 3-hour-long podcast because there's so much stuff in it, right?
Sure.
So we exchange.
We go back and forth.
Yeah, we go back and forth. But that's what keeps it interesting, and we're always learning things, right?
Yeah.
So
That's true.
yeah. So the next one here, have your own goals. And this is different than hobbies, right? I said develop your own hobbies. Goals are different than hobbies. They're not the same thing. Because a hobby is just something that you pick up and do on the side. Like I have little Christmas craft things that I do, right? That kind of thing.
Sure.
That's a hobby, sort of. Goals are like, they show that you care about your future. One of my mottos for years has been always be training for something. And sometimes for me, that's an actual competition, like a CrossFit competition of some kind, right? Or maybe a 5K or something like that, right?
Okay.
So always be training for something. And that keeps me always in the right mindset. There have been times when I've like backslidden on that and it's like I'm just drifting but I don't like feeling like that. So I always try to keep that in mind.
Yeah.
So the last one, and I really did leave this for last for a reason, is attractiveness. And this is such a, it's an umbrella term. It means a lot of things because it doesn't matter who the man is that you are married to or that you are building a relationship with. This can mean a whole wide spectrum because men have all different tastes in what they want when they look at a woman, right?
That is true.
Yes. Obviously, men are visual. That's just a stated fact. There's no getting around it. Men are visual. So I don't mean be skinny or thin because let me tell you something, ladies, I'm not and I never have been. I think there may have been a period of time in high school when I was anorexic, which I don't recommend. I'm not recommending that as a diet plan. When I dropped down to about 110 pounds, and I will tell you that every time I stood up, I almost fainted. It was that bad. So, not recommending that. It means you take care of yourself. You present yourself as if you care about how you look, right? Because your outward appearance does matter. It's not like you can just toss that aside and say, I'm just going to be what I am. That's not how this works. You need to, and you know, obviously you talked about this in your, at length, you know, about how to eat right?
Yeah.
So you eat right. And this is so intuitive. Come on. This is not complicated. People try to complicate this, and it's really not. I'm talking about shopping the perimeter of the store. I'm talking about eating as much as you can, one ingredient foods, or at least whole foods. I'm talking about cooking for yourself, you know, just that kind of thing. Go outside, get some sunshine. The sun is not our enemy. It's really not. Go outside, right? Take care of your skin. I am 54 years old. My skincare routine consists of witch hazel and rose water twice a day, a homemade moisturizer that I use in the morning, and then a separate homemade moisturizer that I use in the evening. What else? Hair stuff that I mostly make for myself. I might wear makeup, once every couple of weeks?
I guess.
Or something like that. And the reason I don't wear makeup, well, it's twofold. The first one, okay, you can go ahead and say that.
No, look, guys. She is so beautiful that she doesn't need makeup.
Okay, beside the point. There's two reasons I don't wear makeup very often. One is I'm lazy. I don't like it. Right? The second reason is it takes so much effort to get it back off. Okay, this falls in the lazy category, I guess. But also we live in a climate that 9 months out of the year, the humidity is upwards of 70%.
Or 80.
Or 80, yeah. If I walk outside, it just melts off anyway. Why would I do that to myself? I'm not going to do it. So I will wear makeup every once in a while. Every once in a while.
But not everybody lives here.
No. No, okay, that's beside the point. If you take care of your skin the way you should, if you are eating the foods that you really should be eating, if you're exercising on a regular basis, and that is whatever you deem it to be.
We talked about this before.
Yes, if you want to do weightlifting, fine. If you want to do hot yoga, do hot yoga. If you want to do goat yoga, I don't care what it is. Get your body up and move it around. Do something. Mm-hmm. Do something, right? It also means dress appropriately for whatever you're doing. Now, I tend to live in gym clothes, but that's because I tend to live at the gym. You know? If we go out on a date, then I'll put on something a little nicer. And I'm not just talking about dresses. I rarely wear dresses. You know, I will put on, I wear them more in the summer because it's hot. And honestly, I wear dresses because I don't want to wear pants. It's not because I'm trying to, it's not, you know, it's so hot. It's just hot where we are. So I don't like wearing pants. But, you know, find a way to dress that flatters whatever you look like. It's not about changing things you can't change, right? I can't change the fact that I'm 5'4" and I'm curvy. The nice lady that we were talking about earlier, mm-hmm. who's nice to everyone and wants everyone to be happy, she's probably got a good 4 or 5 inches on me. Mm-hmm. She looks like a supermodel. True. With muscles. I mean, because she does CrossFit, right? But I mean, that's just and she's a head turner. She's a head turner. People walk in and wow, you know, I mean, she's a very attractive woman. I don't look anything like her. I can't wear anything that she wears. I can't pull that off. But I know what I can wear. I know what I can pull off. Yeah. And I know what looks good on me. And that's what you have to do. Right?
Yeah. I was listening to...
Okay, we do need to kind of...
This will be short.
Bring this to a close here.
I'll try to promise. But no, I was listening to someone and she was talking about... she was actually using, you know, the number rating system. 1 to 10, you know, for women. But she's a woman. And she was saying, you know, but she was also talking about guys. And she, in the context of guys, but I think this applies to ladies as well. She was saying, guys, you know, it's easy for, not easy, how can I put it? It's like, look, you know, if you're a 4 on that scale.
Sure.
And if you practice good hygiene and dress well.
Yeah.
You can become a 6.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that drastic of an improvement. And face it, I mean, what is 5 and 6? But most of us.
Yeah.
Right? So you can improve how you look just by practicing good hygiene and dressing well.
Yeah.
And of course, if you go to the gym and again, like we said, a couple episodes ago, we're not talking about bodybuilding and all that. We're just talking about
if you want to do it, fine.
Sure,
but, you know, yeah.
And we're not talking about 6-pack abs necessarily, but we're talking about being in shape.
Yeah.
And again, it's not about weight; it's about body fat and health.
Yeah.
And all of that. You know, you can improve your number. And I think it's fun to do that now and then, but you know. But the point is, you know, you can change how you look almost overnight by practicing good hygiene and dressing well, right? And then, of course, if you get in shape, you can improve it even more. And this is not just being attractive, like we said before, and I think you mean the same thing, is, you know, the external things like how we dress and how we take care of ourselves. The external things indicate an interior character.
They do, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm going to let you finish up. because I promised to shut my mouth and I didn't. I didn't do it. But go ahead.
Well, I'll make a quick point, kind of in the same vein.
Yeah.
So I am on Twitter, and I will not give out my Twitter handle because sometimes I say not so nice things on Twitter because I'm more or less anonymous. But I follow a lot of very positive, uplifting. It's dad Twitter is what it is. Like, it's a lot of men who build up other men, and they also talk positively about marriage and commitment and children and all of that kind of stuff. And I like that, right? And this was a while ago. One of them posted, if you're an ugly man, right, then get a good job, make a lot of money, and get jacked. Honestly, okay, so...
Well, a lot of money, what does that mean?
It just, have...
More than a McDonald's salary?
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Okay. Have a good job. You
don't need to be rich. You just
need
to make more than McDonald's.
So that's all I'm saying. It works the same way for men as it does for women, right?
Yeah.
Elon Musk has 10 children? I'm sorry. He is not attractive. But he obviously has something that women gravitate to.
Money.
I think no, that's primarily it. Yes. But he's cultivated other things. He must have.
Yeah, he's not just this one-dimensional person.
I don't think he... And there are other men that are like that, But all I'm saying is, however you dress and present yourself, it is a reflection of what your inner dialogue is and how you feel about yourself. And we've got some more upcoming podcasts that we are planning for. We would like to post a few more this year than we did last year. Good Lord. So hopefully we will be coming up with that content soon. And we'll be back very soon. This has been Marriage on the Half Shell. Raw and Exposed.